Hi everyone and welcome to MixChat. I'm Evgeny and I'm thrilled today to bring you this live episode from the second day in MIBA here in Dubai. And you know what? The energy is just buzzing here. It's amazing. The first day was just great. A lot of people, and I really liked it yesterday. And this podcast, as always, it's about sharing ideas, exploring the new opportunities, having a great talks with some of the greatest minds in aviation industry. And I'm so happy today to have one of my special guests is Andrea Estrafallaces. He is the FBO Network Development Executive in MixJet, which is part of Luxaviation Group. So hi Andreas, thank you very much for being here with us today. How are you doing?
Thank you, Evgeny. Thank you for offering this fantastic opportunity. I'm honored to be here. Good morning to everyone, to you, to our audience. Doing very well today.
Yeah.
Yesterday was fantastic, so let's try to move forward with the same energy.
Did you have a lot of meetings yesterday?
Not many, like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Because just during the morning, because in the afternoon we had the launch of our FBO in DWC. So there was the official event. In the morning there was the ribbon cutting with, let's say, the shake. And during the afternoon there was the opening. We show the FBO in DWC to all our partners, customers, colleagues, even competitors. It's nice to see. It's for us something that we have done to anticipate and aspire the needs of our customer.
Great.
It's something to move a step forward.
This is something I just wanted to highlight because yesterday was a special day about the opening of that new FBO terminal here in Dubai, and I know from the previous months it's been making a lot of noise in the aviation industry, so congratulations on that. And I haven't been there. Today is I'm planning to visit the FBO and see it, so I hope to be invited. Thank you. I'm invited myself.
You were invited even yesterday, but you are always welcome.
But I've been so busy yesterday.
I understand
congratulations, and I heard from a lot of people that it's been just amazing event, opening, and it's just great. So it's very good to see it. So Andreas, let's talk about you a little bit. So from your LinkedIn, I mean in LinkedIn you can learn a lot about people. I can see that you've got like a fascinating journey, professional journey in aviation. It's been from the private jet chartering to football teams to cargo luxury goods and everything. So tell us a little bit about it.
I always had a passion for aviation since I was a kid, but you know, sometimes life makes you follow some journey which are more traditional or unexpected.
Yeah.
I studied law also because I come from a family of lawyers, so I studied law, but then I believe destiny was, let's say, had different ideas for me. So I got in touch with the aviation world thanks to a friend, which is now a pilot, which was even more passionate about aviation than me. So I started for a UK company in the Roman branch, but I was always doing a back and forth from Rome to London. I worked there, really liked, enjoyed that experience over 4 years. I had the chance, as you mentioned, to work mostly with the football team and private jet for football players.
What did you like most? Big teams, groups, or more specialized private jet operation for you?
Supporting a small team, I cannot say I like big teams.
Yeah.
I like to suffer in sport and football. That's what I'm used to. So yes, I would say that I prefer a more customized service, for a smaller but more demanding customer, because that's more challenging, and this is, I believe, what our industry is about. Providing a tailor-made service which is really unique. It's not something that you can easily find.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit more about your role, your current position as FBO development. So I understand that you developing not just only one, two, but you have a plans to develop more FBOs?
Yeah, that's correct. About my role, it's of course taking care of the commercial expansion. That was especially the beginning of my experience in Luxaviation. As you and probably even our audience is aware about, in the last especially year and a half as well, we have worked a lot in expanding our network. There is a big trend of consolidation going on in the industry, not only for us. So we acquired SkyValet Spain and Portugal. So 2 network, 9 FBOs in Spain, 6 FBOs in Portugal, plus other FBOs where we provide supervision in Portuguese-speaking islands. Plus we acquired the Paragon network in the US, which is a marketing commercial program for FBOs, mostly in the US but worldwide as well. So I was very busy this year just trying to integrating all these FBOs into our network and make us work like the team, you know. Plus, in addition to that, we need to mention that we expanded also through partnerships with, which come with a quite rigorous selection, because we try to have all our partners which are ISBA certificated, because safety is one of the priorities of our expansion and of our company.
So your FBOs, when you open the new FBOs or current FBOs, all of they are ISBA certificated?
I cannot say all, but
it's
most
process,
of them, yes, they are. I would say the average is ISBA certification stage 2.
Stage 2.
For example, in Spain.
Which is a quite high certification. Stage 2 is really high.
Yeah, just for those maybe they're not aware about, the highest level of certification ISBA is stage 3.
Stage 3, yes.
And there are really few FBOs in the world having that, and we have 2 of them, Sydney and Melbourne.
So
which
you have stage 3 and
we have we have ISBA certification stage 3 as well in the Sydney and Melbourne, and we are the only FBO in the continent, in the Oceania, Australia, which have that kind of certification.
Interesting, very good. Yeah, I know this costs a lot, not only investment but a lot of training and programs and stuff, and you did great.
It does indeed, but I always believe that investment in safety, it's always the best investment. First of all, because we have our team on the ground and we have the moral duty to keep them safe, and we have our passengers there, and again, we have the moral obligation to keep them safe all the time.
Great. Well, business aviation, I think it's always focused on the luxury experience of the passenger and who is inside the FBO. By the way, we've been talking about the FBO. For those of our audience who are looking for the first time this podcast in aviation, in few words, what is FBO? What does it mean, these 3 magical letters?
These 3 magical letters, they stand for Fixed Business Operator. Fixed Base Operator. Sometimes I forget it as well. No, Fixed Based Operator, but you can also sometimes find it like GAT, which stands for General Aviation Terminal. So sometimes you can use also this name. You can find this name.
VIP terminal as well, right?
VIP terminal as well, yes, of course.
So we all know about that passengers and your clients are very demanding on the quality of the service, but I know that's a massive logistic machine is behind the scene of everything to make this experience unforgettable. So tell us a little bit more about what involved in this experience, who is working inside the FBO, VIP terminals, I don't know, who people, it's not about the passenger, right? It's all the ramp service. So you're not only giving the service to passenger itself, the high profile passenger, but also to the pilots and aircraft itself.
Yes, of course. There are many people involved and working behind the scene just for a flight that may be for the passenger is just going for point A to point B. But in the middle there are many processes to take care. So, for example, you say many people working in the FBO. from the ramp agent, marshalling agent, the people welcoming you at the concierge, people arranging your limousine, people arranging your hotel booking, pilots, of course, they need to do all the flight planning.
Absolutely.
And in my opinion, the most unexpected aspect of this process for the customers, under the customer perspective, is the slot coordination.
Slot coordination.
Slot coordination, okay. And getting all the permits.
All the permits.
Because maybe if you don't work in the industry, you don't know that you need overflight permit, especially on a long-range flight. Mm-hmm. You need landing permit, which is not always so easy to get.
Absolutely.
So especially in some geographical areas, mm-hmm. or sometimes the flight itself has some specific features, you need to land in a war zone, you need to land
the private jet is not like a taxi. You take from point A to point B anytime. There's a lot of stuff involved there, preparation, permits, as you said. So you're managing all these arrangements by yourself, right?
Depends on the geographical area. ExecuJet has a worldwide network.
Yep.
So it depends really on the local regulation. Speaking about our network, I cannot give just one answer, because there are some countries where we can support with landing permit. Sometimes we also have companies maybe taking care of the flight planning, but or with, let's say, some civil aviation authority permits, but let's say it's not always the same.
You mentioned that ExecuJet is around the world. So how many stations do you have, roughly?
Roughly, we are between 35 and 40,
wow.
Just directly belonging to the ExecuJet network. In addition to that, as I've mentioned before, we have similar number, 40 FBOs location, let's say, managed by our partners, but under the ExecuJet brand. Mm-hmm. We have co-branding agreements. We are very proud of our partners, because fortunately so far we have always worked very well with them, and we try to help each other. Let's say they benefit from being part of a bigger group which is involved in process and in the aviation trends worldwide, and we are happy to have them in our network.
Nice. You know what? I will tell you something you didn't know probably. As I mentioned before, that from the LinkedIn you can learn a lot about the person. I have a special place in my heart about ExecuJet. You know why? Because my first experience in business aviation, my first work in business aviation was ExecuJet at FBO in Barcelona. And it was my first, let's say, approach and connection with business aviation. I started like a ramp agent, so doing all the ramp stuff. So when we talk about FBO, I have like a special feeling about it. I know how it works, and really I know how difficult it is to get this customer satisfaction and how many people working hard to make it. And when we talk about this luxury travel, it's about the quality, the efficiency, but a lot of times I think when we talk about the product or service, emotions are also involved inside the operation and the product to you. Because, when you buy a product or you get any service, you pay money for something. It's not about only just transaction. You pay money, you get the service. It's about the emotions and memories you will be taken away after you paid for something. And this is where I'd like to ask you how you ensure that your client, your customer, and as you explained, it can be passenger, it can be pilot or whoever, how you ensure that those emotions are really there and they will come back with you and not with the competition.
First of all, I believe we need to mention that private, let's say, business aviation industry is not only about ultra high network individuals traveling from A to B for business. That's the idea we have. That's what the media broadcast in the news. But let's say, business aviation industry is not only about that. There are also a lot of cargo flights, for example, for medical supply, which are more than needed in some geographical areas of the world. We are all those humanitarian flights in a war zone.
Okay.
There are also all the medical flights. If you get sick, you need to as well to be moved, and all those flights are assisted by FBOs, so handled by FBOs. So again, sometimes we need, especially when we speak about emotions, we need to switch the focus from just fancy, glamorous environment.
Glamorous is what all the people think it's about.
Exactly,
yes.
But we need to switch also.
Diamonds and gold everywhere, and the very expensive champagne. It's not only that.
It's not only that.
Not only that. But you also have it.
Yes, of course we do. Of course we do. It's part of our business. We don't deny that. But it's not only that.
Exactly.
About emotion.
Any case you can remember from your experience, or?
Absolutely. Thanks for your question. I have one specific case that probably I will never forget. I believe we need to do one step back. During COVID period, it was, I believe, March 2020. The world was about to close. All borders were closed or about to do it. We had a request from of course, was a wealthy mom. I prefer to remember her as a mom, not as a customer, because it was very personal, this flight.
Personal, okay.
When the world closed, she had her son in Canada. She was living in the Umbria region, center of Italy. And her son was in Canada. If I will remember, he was like 17. She wanted her son back with her just before the world was about to close the border. So we had to arrange this very specific flight. The environment was stressful. She was very anxious. We made this flight very, very quickly. In, I believe, 24 hours, everything was arranged. It was a Legacy 650, if I will remember, moved there to Canada to pick up this young boy. And we were able to bring it back, but the mom, probably she was not used to private jet. She was very anxious, and she was following all the time the flight on flight radar. But on the way from Canada to Iceland, she lost track of the flight, because of course there is no connection.
Not connection in this area, yes. Right.
So I well remember receiving calls from her secretary, because she wasn't able to talk. She was thinking the worst, she was afraid.
Something bad happened.
Yes, of course. As I said, we need to think that was COVID time, people were stressed. Was an anxious mom, and I fully understand that. So the solution we came up with was to get in contact with our operational department, which got in contact with our pilot somehow.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
But fortunately, they started to get closer to Europe, so connection was back, and we were able to give her news. Then the flight was back on flight radar, and she calmed down. Yes, but this is an episode which is hard to forget in a very busy period of our industry.
But this is where you really proved this extra mile you do for every operation, a person. You just do it in a very personalized way.
I believe it's the human touch that any AI cannot, let's say, replace.
Exactly. This is what makes people to come back to you, you know, and absolutely. Thank you for sharing this interesting story. I believe our listeners will be also enjoying it. And getting back a little bit to this operation, you know, it's very difficult to guarantee everything to be run smooth. what do you think about the involvement of third parties in the operation? It can be everything: catering companies, fuelers, maybe trip support companies like our company MixJet. So we do provide services for you as a client, for us. So what do you think about this third party involvement in the final outcome and results?
First of all, as you have mentioned before, this is just not one player effort. This is absolutely a team effort.
Team, yeah.
The final result is good or it's great, just if all the players involved are playing with the same goal. Mm-hmm. So that's absolutely a teamwork. It's not just a work of one player.
Yeah.
I believe not only but in general, the role of third party is crucial for this reason, and I believe that some of the providers in general they are developing several tools. I'm thinking specifically, for example, to some providers which are developing, for example, some AI tools.
AI tools, for example,
which can be, I'm gonna say, they can play a crucial role in some specific aspect of our job. Thinking, for example, about customer care or sustainability, for example.
Interesting. Good. Before jumping to our last topic, by the way, where is this beautiful accent is coming from?
Thank you very much for defining it beautiful.
It's beautiful, actually, of course it's beautiful.
Thank you. It's Italian.
It's Italian accent. Okay, yes. So you live in Italy?
No, I don't. I don't live in Italy now from 5 years.
Oh.
I currently live in Luxembourg with my wife from 2 years and a half.
Okay.
Since a bit more, actually, since I moved to Luxembourg to join the Luxaviation Group, which I thank for this opportunity. And before I was living in Paris. Working for a French operator.
As well?
I have learned it actually. I wasn't. At the beginning I've learned it because my wife is a French speaker. When she was getting angry at me, she was talking to me in French. At the beginning was frustrating because I wasn't understanding that. So I had the chance to learn it.
Yeah, the chance to learn it. And you mentioned before that you also lived in Spain for a while, right?
Yes, I did. I live in Spain 1 year in Barcelona.
¿Y hablas español?
Sí, también.
¿Sí hablas español también?
Sí, me encanta. Lo aprendí en Barcelona. I learned it in Spanish, in Spain, in Barcelona when I lived there.
Okay. So if someone in LinkedIn would like to contact you, they can also say, hola, Andrea.
Absolutely. Actually, it's a pleasure for me to have the chance to practice my Spanish. It's a language I love. I also had the chance in Barcelona to study because some of my classes were in Catalan.
In Catalan, yes. So I live in Barcelona. I still, after 23 years, I can understand Catalan, but I cannot speak it, unfortunately. It's quite a difficult
Me too, I can understand
language,
it. Speaking other Neo-Latin language, for me it's a bit easier to understand it. Speaking is another different thing.
Great. Thank you very much for sharing this personal side of your life. And if we talk about the business aviation services, setups, and we look into the future, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, whatever, what do you see? Maybe trends or any changes or what?
If I had the crystal ball to predict the future, I would already be a billionaire. But if I really need to do some predictions, I would mention some trends and I would focus my attention on one which is the more, let's say, visible for everyone at the moment. I will mention AI. I believe in aviation we still didn't see all the potential of AI in our business, but I believe in the long run will play a crucial role. Then I would mention also the electric/hybrid aircraft, aviation, and also the related infrastructure. This is something that, as ExecuJet, we have already worked on with some partnership, and whenever this aircraft will be ready, we will be able to assist. In the meantime, let's say, speaking about that, this leads me about the sustainability, which was the other trend that, in my opinion, will impact our business in the future. Sustainability will impact the business because I believe that every day more and more operators will include the sustainability in the supply chain. This will play every day a more relevant role.
Relevant role, of course, definitely.
Yeah, that's for sure. We do it. Honestly, as a Luxaviation Group, we already do it. We have a sustainability manager who takes care of all the aspects, give us the leads to what we have to do or what we do not have to do. We supply SAF in some of our FBOs, and I believe this will play an important role. In commercial aviation, due to EU regulation, some carriers are obliged to have some standards. I believe it's a low percentage at the moment, but business aviation might be impacted in the future as well. That's the point. In general, not only SAF, but any sustainable fuel, because there is not only SAF, there are biofuels, e-fuel, so that's another point.
Great.
And also the electrification of all the GSE. We have already some
actually it's
FBOs.
already started, but it's not fully electrified, yes.
That's absolutely correct. We started, we have some FBOs which are already full electrified in terms of GSE. Yes, Paris is one example. All our GSE are electric. Newcastle, which is one of our partners, is 100% fully electric in terms of GSE. So that's another trend that we are trying to follow also in our ExecuJet FBO network.
Interesting. So thank you very much. It's a good vision. I hope it will be becoming reality. So Andrea, I would like to thank you very much for being with us today, this episode. And if you are as passionate about aviation as we are, this episode is must listen and watch. Please stay tuned for more very interesting guests, exciting conversations, more to come, and thank you, and till next MixChat.